Oh, are we live? Oh, oh, awesome. Hey everyone. Welcome to today's Sunday drawing group, brought to you by Guy Aitchison's Reinventing the Tattoo Community, where tattooers, apprentices, and collectors are encouraged to join live events, share, and inspire to create better art and tattoos together. You may be watching us stream from YouTube or Facebook or listening to a podcast. But you'll always get the latest event schedule and notifications from the official Reinventing the Tattoo community. Yes, there is an app. It's available in both the Google App Store and the Apple App Store. Or you can connect directly online at community.reinventingthetattoo.com. Um, our goal isn't really to keep you addicted to your phone, but to easily access inspiration and awesome conversations to help drive you to that next level of advancement in your career. You're currently watching the live drawing group with me, Jason Leeser, on Sundays at 1 o'clock. On demand reruns can be found in the library of the community, as well as tons of other art and tattoos. You can fall down a rabbit hole pretty quickly. There's also live art jams, drawing groups, interviews, panels, webinars. We've got just about a show going on every single day of the week. It's pretty awesome. We also have several upcoming pro development seminars and on-demand seminars, as well as an RIT business seminar led by Gabe Ripley, which is absolutely inspiring. We've got guest lectures from Andre Malcolm. He's doing one where he's laying out a whole koi fish sleeve. EJ Betts has a 3-hour lettering seminar. Bob Tyrrell's got an 11-hour tattoo seminar that he does uninterrupted, and it is unbelievable. If you really like fine line black and gray work, you have to check it out. We also have weekly events going on. So obviously there's the Sunday afternoon drawing groups with me, Jason Leeser, at 1 p.m. There's also another one coming up tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. with Jake Meeks of the Fireside Tattoo Network. There's a pretty good chance you'll catch me beaming in on that one as well. The RIT subscribers have exclusive access to a Monday evening drawing group with Guy Aitchison himself. That is at 9 p.m. And it's absolutely astounding what you can learn just by attending those alone. Those are available to the subscribers only, so you do need a subscription to the Reinventing the Tattoo canon. And, some people may be asking, well, if I'm paying all that money, am I really going to get my money's worth out of it? And trust me when I say you're going to get more than your money's worth out of it. Number one, it's less than $1 a day. Come on, you should be able to make that in like a tattoo, in one tattoo, if not two. And the amount of advancement you can get from just attending the Monday night drawing groups is absolutely astounding. Definitely highly recommend it. Highly check it out. There's also a live podcast that's going on, and you can check that out. And you can download the latest episodes of all of the podcasts in the podcast store. Just search for Reinventing the Tattoo. We've got a couple of upcoming events. One with Robert Shaw, and once again, I had already mentioned the Andre Malcolm Koi Design Seminar. That's coming up as well. We've got some real world events coming up. October 3rd through 6th. We are doing a Paradise Tattoo Gathering BYOB. We'll be doing some live webcasts, doing some live painting, some live drawing. It's going to be an all-around absolutely awesome event. I'll be there. I'll be beaming out well, I'll probably be beaming out throughout the week since it's taking place from the 3rd through the 6th. In November, we have the International Brussels Tattoo Convention. Nick Baxter is confirmed to be there. Ivana is confirmed to be there. Gabe's going to be doing seminars. There's going to be a live art jam going on. We're going to be doing some meetups. I'll be doing some live broadcasting while I'm there. It's going to be an absolutely astounding time. Rumor has it that we're also going to have a few other people from this community that are going to be heading out there as well. going to be an absolutely great time. July 8th through 10th, 2022, we have the Rock River Tattoo Expo. That's going to be absolutely awesome. You may want to check that out. I don't know if they're really booking tables just yet, but you'll probably be able to find me at that as well. There's also the Rubber City Tattoo Convention in July, possibly next year, with Tony Urbanek. And yeah, definitely check that out as well. Wanted to say a very awesome thank you to our sponsors, Dermalize, also known as D-Lize Pro in the US. If you guys are still using plastic wrap or saran wrap to cover your tattoos, it's time to step your game up. It's designed to heal, breathe, keep everything nice and safe, help prevent infection. It's definitely the preferred method of healing for a lot of people that I know. Raw Pigments, big shout out to Lauren out there for who works at Raw Pigments for getting me hooked on those. I've used all different types of colors, all different types of pigments. I've tried some from pretty much every single company you can ever imagine. And Raw Pigments is the creme de la creme, in my opinion. Like it's definitely out there. It's acrylic free, it's organic, it's vegan friendly. It is the absolute epitome of what a tattoo pigment should be. Definitely check that out. That's rawpigments.co. Inkjet Stencils, if you know you're used to drawing out your own line drawings for tattoos, that's cool. By all means do it. But if you're trying to step up your stencil game alone, go check out Inkjet Stencils. You will never find a more impressive stencil that you can put on someone rather than legitimately printing out a photograph and using that as a stencil. I've used them several times for even more graphic stuff, and they work absolutely phenomenal. Another big thanks to Tattoo Education and GuyAitchison.com. Once again, great sponsors, and you would be surprised what kind of resources you can find on those pages. And of course, Tattoo Now, technology for tattooers. If you want some of the leading seminars in respective fields, that's where you go to find them. They have been the name in tattoo seminars for, I don't even know, 15 years, 20 years, something like that. Also wanted to give a great shout out to our affiliates, the Fireside Tattoo Network. Thanks, Jake Meeks, for starting that. That kind of got me started on my my path for getting into all of the live webcasting and stuff like that. It's all tattoo related, and there is some absolute gold on that channel. Definitely check it out. That's the Fireside Tattoo Network. The Apprenticeship Diaries, absolutely great. If you are trying to get an apprenticeship, if you're trying to get advice on apprenticeships, if you're trying to learn more about how to be an apprentice, check out the Apprenticeship Diaries. You are going to be blown away with the amount of content that's there and just the absolute pure, unadulterated advice that they give you. Also, Eco-Friendly Tattoo Supplies, another great affiliate. Thank you very much. And, who knows? Maybe we'll be having some giveaways. Also, I wanted to remind everyone, if you are enjoying these videos and you're on the YouTube channel, please like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's really going to help us push this content out to other people, and it's going to be a really big step forward. So thanks to all of you that are currently watching. I'm here with Kirsten Franklin. Welcome to another Sunday version or another Sunday edition of the live drawing group.
Hi, Jason.
Hi, Kira.
I forgot it was Sunday today. I was like, is it Saturday? Is it Sunday? Been like that all week.
Yeah, the days just merged together after a while. You know that.
Do you go based off of what client you have before what day it is? Because that's how
Pretty
I think of
much.
it.
I mean, I try to look at my calendar and really kind of coordinate things for the week, usually on Sundays after I get done with these. I usually try to get everything together and I'm like, okay, crap. what do I have to draw? Right. What can I put off and draw at like 3 a.m. on Wednesday night if I have to? Right. Because, you get backlogged. Every tattooer out there knows what it's like to be backlogged. So it gets kind of confusing. I do my absolute best to stay ahead of it, but sometimes it just doesn't happen that way. I do try to be as proactive as humanly possible, which works sometimes, I guess, you know. But yeah, I mean, sometimes you'll see me on here drawing stuff that I'm super excited about. Uh, a couple weeks in advance, if not a couple of months in advance. It's tough to keep track of everything sometimes. I swear
Yeah.
I live and die by my calendar. So
Do you have a one day a week that you push just for consults? Like one day is dedicated just to consultations?
yes, days
Mm.
that end in Y. Even on my days off, I'm going back and forth with people. I'll hit them up on Zoom and I'll say, hey, what's going on? Like, if you have like a quick 30-minute time, like, cool. Let's meet up real quick on Zoom. We'll sit down, we'll talk about what you want, and we'll get everything figured out.
You've had Zoom
I am
consultation?
24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all about my clientele. They can hit me up at any time on Instagram or email, and I get back to them just as soon as I try to see it. It doesn't always work that way, and there are sometimes, that it doesn't work out quite immediately, but I try to be as on top of it as possible.
Yeah. And any day that ends in Y. That's hilarious. God damn it, man. Are you doing
Yeah,
homework? I see you're doing homework.
yeah, I'm doing homework. I'm trying to reply to all the people on the Facebooks. Looks like Lisa joined us. Yeah, if you guys want, please send us a comment. Let us know where you're joining in from. Looks like we've got we've got Rudy Tattoo from Italy joined us. That's awesome. Hey, Fred, what's going on? Uh, Sarah Rossini, how's it going? Um, Pakistan, Asim, thanks for joining us. Shout out from Philippines, I believe. That's awesome. Um, yeah, this is absolutely awesome.
Or Pappin.
I don't know about that. I mean, there's only 58 people watching us right now on Facebook,
I
so
mean, I don't even know 58 people, Jason. So
I know, right? It's like after a while you start to whittle away a lot of the number of people and you just start focusing on quality, and it's like you'd be surprised at how much keeping a smaller, tighter knit, more closely knit group of people together is just really helpful.
yeah. What is that?
Oh, hey, how's it going? Uh, Detox, Flame from India. Welcome, welcome. This is something I've been working on for a little bit, and I'm almost. I still have a little bit of tweaking to do with the background and the foreground, but this is a more of like an Art Nouveau design that I've been working on that I'm going to turn into a painting soon. It's going to be pretty big. It's going to be 3 foot by 6 foot. So I'm just trying to get like a rough idea for layout and color scheme and all that now. I decided to throw some kind of Art Nouveau swirls in the foreground,
I love that.
traveling into the background. And like I was playing around with keeping it symmetrical, but having the foreground asymmetrical. And then I was like, maybe I don't want to do that. Maybe I should give it a little bit more of a flow to it. But then it's like a lot of the flow is going to be obscured. Especially if I stick with some of the more intricate kind of Art Nouveau swirls. But I do kind of like the way that it kind of brings your eye around. So maybe I'll cut down some of the background swirls and maybe just get rid of some of this stuff. But this is going to end up being a painting. I was commissioned by a very good friend of mine named Sydney Oso from New Jersey. She hit me up kind of out of the blue and was like, yo, I want you to make a painting for me. And I was like, yo, I want to make a painting for you. Um, and I'm like, what do you want? and how big. And she's like, oh, I want it to be, I want it to be kind of huge though. And I'm like, well, define huge, right? We all have different definitions of what we consider to be large scale, different definitions of small. It's all up to personal opinion there, right? And I said, my definition of a huge painting is you want me to come over and paint the side of a building, right? That's huge, right? That's huge. I mean, when you're talking like a 4-story building and you want me to paint the side of it, yeah, that's a daunting task. I've never painted anything that big in my life. And I said, what's your definition of huge? And she's like, oh, like maybe 2 foot by 4 foot. And I'm like, that's not huge.
To me, that's
Let's go
huge.
bigger.
To me, that's pretty big.
What, 2 foot by 4 foot?
Yeah.
Well, I could do all of that with like a medium round brush. That's nothing.
No, I'm picturing it. All right, no, that's not okay. That's not as bad as I was picturing it.
Yeah. And I was like, how about we go a little bit bigger and we go like maybe 3 foot by 6 foot? That way it's like a substantial size canvas, right?
Is that a
like,
canvas?
yeah, that sounds good.
Can you find a frame for that easily, or is it?
You build one.
Oh.
Yeah, you can build. What size?
3 foot by 6 foot.
Oh yeah, you definitely have to build one for that.
Yeah, you can't get that shipped, man. And if you do get it shipped, you're paying freight charges, which are astronomical.
Well,
yeah.
Like Michael's and ask.
Yeah. So I actually have my shopping list together. It's going to run me about $500. Get all the materials together. But I found this really cool stuff. It's called absorbent ground.
Yeah.
That will allow you to coat a canvas that's already primed with gesso, and it will allow you to go through and use it like it's a piece of watercolor paper. So for anyone out there that enjoys painting large scale, but doesn't want to have to break down and get a massive expensive roll of paper, go through, pick up some absorbent ground. I think there are several different companies that make it, or watercolor ground for canvas. And it is absolutely incredible, the effects that you can get. It's like painting on paper, but it's not paper.
Whoa.
Right?
You just blew my mind, man.
No, but I prefer to work with like fluid medium, liquid acrylic, watercolor, things of that nature. So for me, this was like the perfect way to go through, use the stuff. Number one, use the materials I already have. Although you guys have both pretty much seen I own like half of every art supply store out there.
You got
I'm an
quite
art
the
supply
library.
whore, dude. I am an art supply whore to the max.
You know what though?
Name
It's fun.
any
It's
brand
fun to go in the
Jason's
room.
tried it.
What's that?
Name any brand and Jason has tried it.
Oh yeah.
You never know what you like until you give it a shot, right?
You don't know what you got till you try it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, think of tattoo pigments, right?
Yeah.
Like Ricardo, you've been using a lot of the raw pigments. Kirsten, you've been trying some of them. You don't know that you're going to like those until you try them out, right?
Yeah.
But I can guarantee you, once you try them out, you're going to love them.
Oh yeah, for sure, dude.
And then you're going to turn around and be like, why did I just buy this brand new bottle of blue when I fell in love with this raw pigments blue? Because it's just that awesome, and it's like, well, do I like try to sell this bottle of blue to like a coworker? Do I give it to someone? Like, what do I do with it now? Because like, all I want to use is this new company because it's that good. And I know it's going to be a game changer, but like, what do I do with all my other stuff? Right. So sometimes it just kind of sits around until it expires. And sometimes you turn around and you can sell it to a coworker. Like, hey, I noticed you were running low on this color of blue. How would you like to buy another bottle right now from me?
Right, exactly.
Oh, you're having problems with that machine? Well, it just so happens I'm in the market to sell this one.
Yeah, exactly.
You just reminded me of like that person that has a trench coat but has just like machines on the inside and just walks up to people and just opens it.
And I'm actually in the process, believe it or not, of making a custom tattoo machine case from an old aluminum Samsonite briefcase.
Swanson, Samson, something.
So I
Swanson.
found this, like, it looks like one of those, like, like secret agent aluminum briefcases that people carry like huge bricks of cash in and stuff. And I'm going to like put the lining and the folders out of it. And I'm going to put some foam padding on the top and bottom. And I'm just going to start using that as like a machine case because, I mean, why not? Right.
Dude, I'm gonna be honest with you. This is so trippy because I think we're all on the same page here, man. I've been working on this like old suitcase for the same thing, dude. I was gonna paint the outside of the suitcase and everything, and just get the new foam for it and cut the little, the facets out for yourself and whatever you want to fit in there perfectly for it.
My
But
thing
yeah,
is this though. Do I really need a briefcase as my machine case?
it's
I don't.
cool.
I'm only really using like 3 machines.
It's like, wearing suspenders now. You know what I mean? Like, unless you really need them, they're not functional, but they look cool as shit. So I
Just
mean,
add to the bouginess.
add to that bougie.
I just don't want to be the
bourgeois.
guy that like rolls up with like a briefcase handcuffed to his wrist, opens
Dude.
it up, and there's one fucking small tattoo machine in there, right?
That's even
With
better.
like a battery. And
That's
it's
even
just like
better.
perfectly centered, cut out, and it's like molded foam padding.
Yeah.
And like it's like, yes, this is what I'm using, right? Do I really need to be that extra? I don't think so.
I don't know, man. It's pretty cool. Like you walk in and you get just a single machine. You're gonna have to like get it wrapped, like custom wrapped in some kind of cool, like, I don't know, design or something.
I was actually thinking about taking the newest machine I got and getting it hydro dipped.
There you go.
Oh, what?
That's gonna be awesome. That'd be awesome,
Yeah.
dude. You have a
Like finding
logo or
someone
something?
that could do like a gold foil hydro dip.
Ooh, snazzy.
Don't chrome?
No, gold. Gold's my thing. You know this.
Gold or like brass would look pretty cool too, but the gold leaf would be awesome, dude.
Maybe I could find a way to just do gold leaf on it. I know
There
it's
you go.
anodized aluminum already, but
It just has to be.
get gold leaf to stick to it.
You'd have to find somebody to like clear coat that thing, you know what I mean, and then be able to stand up to the cavicide or the maticide wipes and stuff like that too. That's the only thing.
Yeah, but I mean, if I did like clear epoxy, that would work.
Perfect. There you go. You just spray paint that thing, man.
Yeah, rattle can it. Why not?
I don't know if you guys can see. I got Bruno's painting up here, back here in the background. You know what I mean?
Really, you too?
Yep. And then I'm working on getting yours framed up here pretty soon too. So that
Good luck with that. Let me know how much it runs you.
Yeah. It's like,
I feel kind of bad that I made those actual size because they are costing people a fortune to get framed.
it's awesome.
I got mine framed. It wasn't that bad.
Really?
Yeah, mine's framed.
Where'd you go?
Michael's.
Did you get the frame to fit the canvas size, or is there some extra space on the sides?
No, there's a mat board kind of around it.
How much of the mat board is showing?
Hold on. Let me just hold on. Pause it. Let me just go.
Yeah, you got it in your station, right?
Yeah. I'm outside at the moment.
Well, it's gorgeous outside, so.
Yeah, it's really nice out. Okay, let's see. Because I know I had to get one that was bigger. Oh, okay. So yeah, it's like much bigger than.
Let's see.
Yeah, I had a feeling.
Yeah, there's a gap. Yeah. It looks great still, though.
Right? I love
Mhm.
it. It gets pointed out all the
Yeah,
time.
that was that's number 2 of 10, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
Dang.
And Ricardo,
dog.
I think you have number 3 of 10.
Yeah, boy. Who's got number 1?
A friend of mine named Brooke Trigger. You can find her on Instagram, and I'll pull that up and give her a quick little shout out as well.
Tell her I'm coming for that number 1.
Good luck, dude. You're probably gonna have to fight her to the death for it.
Awesome. I'm ready for that.
But she's actually down in Australia.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, I might be going down to New Zealand in December, so.
Oh, really?
Oh
And what,
yeah.
you think you're just going to leave me here?
Are you coming with, dude? That'd be awesome. Let's go.
I don't know any of the details. You haven't told me
Well,
anything.
I will tell you on either, you want me to tell you now or you want me to tell you on the car ride down? Yeah, I'll tell you now and the car ride down. How about that?
Well, I know car ride down, dude. You can't drive to Australia, Ricardo.
What was I
That is,
thinking?
I mean, you can try to, man, but I ain't going on that road trip with you.
Isn't there a bridge? I thought there was a bridge.
What are you nuts?
Anyways,
You got one of those aquatic cars?
yes.
The duck boat things. Do you guys have duck boats? I know.
Yes.
So I'm gonna give I'm gonna share my screen real quick.
Okay.
With to kind of show off Brooke. Brooke is a friend of mine from Australia. She got the number one, the first print of that I ever sold. She's got some pretty clean work. She's pretty green into tattooing, but she's got solid work.
Nice. That's killer.
Yeah, that's BT Tattoos on Instagram. She works at Golden Monkey Tattoo. Definitely give her a follow. Super awesome, super talented, super clean work. If you live in or around Australia, on the east coast of Australia, definitely take a look. It might be a little bit of a drive for you, but it's worth the drive.
Check out Jolly Octopus on Instagram. I think that's the name of the place. That's where I'll be going. I'm sure he'd like to have
The
us,
octopus
man.
tattoo.
Yeah, I believe that's it. In Christchurch, New Zealand.
Yep.
Yep.
And actually, while you're out there, since you'll be over at Jolly Octopus, take a look and see what they're going to be doing about the Christchurch Tattoo Expo.
Okay.
Because I'd love to get to that one. I think a few of my friends worked at that one before, and they said it was an absolute blast.
Well, I mean, dude, I would love to go down there and tattoo, but by all means, you know, like that's definitely the agenda. But I want to go down there and check the whole area out. For a lot of good things about the food, or for a lot of good things about restaurants and stuff on there. Like it's a whole, you know, up here we have the niche like farm to table thing, but I guess it's just the way it goes down there. You know, there's just, I mean, you know, there's less import kind of things. You know what I mean? So that makes sense. So they have to kind of provide their own food and everything. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm also trying to organize 2 trips next year for anyone out there that might be listening. If anyone would wish to join me in these trips, I'm trying to organize a trip to Japan and then to Malaysia to go and visit a friend of mine named Clement. You can find him at Clement Zio on Instagram. He works at, hold on, I'll tell you the name.
That's right. I remember we talked about that, didn't we?
Yeah, he just opened up a brand new studio. Divine Evie. I believe it's the Divine Eve or Divine 7 Tattoo Collective.
Divine 7.
Yeah. Yeah, Divine 7 Tattoo Collective in Kuala Lumpur, I believe. And I mean, this dude's work is out of this world. Absolutely insane. If you like neo-traditional Japanese stuff, he is incredible. And he works with some really talented people as well. I'm also trying to get him over to the States at some point. I'd love to host him as a traveling artist, have him travel around the US, you know, kind of show him around and you know, help him build a little bit more of a following, even though he's doing pretty well. Definitely, I know right now he's in Kuala Lumpur, so I'm trying to make it out there and just go and like live it up and do like a little tattoo vacation. But you know, that is a really good point of discussion that, you know, maybe I can get some feedback from people that are listening. But for all of the tattooers out there that are listening, when you go on vacation, do you try to make it a working vacation, or do you try to just like relax and let your mind space out? Because I'm one of those people, like if I'm going to take a trip, or if I'm gonna take some time off, like I always end up doing something tattoo related, whether it's, you know, getting out to a tattoo convention in another part of the world, or whether it's, you know, just going through and visiting different studios in different parts of the world. I always like to try to get out there and experience more of the international tattoo world. So, I mean, maybe I'm like the only one that does that, but
No, I don't think so. I usually just try to like pop in the shops and just say hi and stuff like that. And if we get on the conversation about things, I'll start talking to them about what I do and stuff. But most of the time, I just check them out.
get a feel for the place and
Yeah, you know,
take a
just
look.
look at them. Yeah, exactly.
I thought
Most
that's
of
what this was all about.
What's that?
I thought that's what this was all about.
They're all right.
Traveling.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it is. I mean, you're not wrong. You know, but different people have different viewpoints. Some people like to take like a mental break from tattooing every now and then and just kind of recenter themselves and reprioritize their life, you know, and you know, it's a delicate balance. And there's plenty of tattooers that have been tattooing way longer than I have, way longer than a lot of people know. And you know, they still struggle with that delicate work-life balance.
Yeah, they can get
And
pretty. Yeah, I
it's a
agree with you,
struggle,
Jason.
man.
Yeah,
It's a struggle. Time management, prioritizing, all that stuff. It's not easy. Anyone that tells you that it is, they're full of it. It
the hardest
is
part for me is
not.
dealing with all the like the appointments and rescheduling and everything like that. Which I understand things come up and everything like that, you know what I mean? But it's hard when you have sometimes a bigger workload, so to speak, and you have to reschedule a bunch of stuff after you've been working on a design for a few weeks already, and then you have to kind of, you know, put everything on pause and readjust, move things around and everything. That can get kind of difficult sometimes. So sometimes it is good to just kind of take a break.
Yeah, and just
I
let your mind go blank and, you know,
Yep.
recenter yourself.
Yeah, and sometimes almost even get new inspiration, you know, because you can get kind of drained sometimes, and it's good to go out and do something that you don't normally do. Go for a walk in the woods, go on the beach, just sit on the beach. Like, don't do anything. Turn your phone off. Just sit down and don't do
Yeah, I don't know
crap.
how to do that though. I
It's
don't
fun.
know how to not do something art or tattoo related in some aspect, right? Like
Yeah.
that concept is beyond what I'm capable of understanding. Um, it's not something that like I recommend for everyone because it definitely affects your personal life. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, big time.
But it's, you know, when you do what your passion is in life,
It's not
when
even
you
work.
allow it to take over every aspect of your life and the way that your life is, you know, it's like it's not just a job. It's not just something that I do to make money. It really does take over a lot of what you do in your free time as well. It's not because you're doing it to make money. It's you're doing it because you love to do it, you know? And it's like if I wasn't tattooing, you know, for a living, which I wasn't for a few years, um, you know, while I had another full-time job as well. Like if I wasn't tattooing to pay my bills, I'd still be involved in tattooing in some aspect because that's what I love, you know? And I don't know, like I said, maybe I'm just really weird. Who knows? But like my life has revolved around tattoos, tattooing, researching, understanding, exploring, painting, drawing, you name it. That's what I have been, you know, dedicating my life towards for the better part of the time I've been alive.
I feel you there.
So I don't know. Maybe I'm just maybe I just have a sick obsession.
You know, that word gets thrown around a lot around me. You're obsessed.
What,
You're
sick?
obsessed. No, it was sick is that one's more like a well, duh kind of thing, you know. But I mean, the obsessed part. I'm like, I always think about that character in Princess Bride, Inigo Montoya, where he's like, I don't think that word means what you think it means. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because most people think they hear that word obsessed and there's this like negative connotation with it, but I don't know, man. I don't think of it in the same way. Like I think it's more like, well, why are you not feeling the way that I do about this one particular subject? Like, why do you not think about it all the time? Why do you not want to make it better? I don't get it. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, where's your passion? You know,
Exactly.
and that it's something I've always felt very fortunate about is that, you know, from a very young age, I knew all I wanted to do was be a tattooer.
Yep.
That's all I wanted. That's all that I geared my life towards was, you know, even in high school, my high school art teacher, Miss Nuss, would be able to tell you that like when I was there, I was like, okay, here are some things, here are some magazine clippings that I would have from, you know, tattoo magazines when those were still a thing. Right.
Mhm.
And I would cut out different paintings that tattooers would do. I remember one of my first sketchbooks actually had it was a drawing done by Aaron Kane, and I had taken like Mod Podge or Matte Medium or whatever, and like glued it to the front of my sketchbook as inspiration.
Yeah.
And I had done that with several pages throughout the book as inspiration. I had some Guy Aitchison drawings and paintings from a magazine in there. I had some
Mhm.
tattoos that had been done that I really liked. And it's like that's all I ever wanted in life was just tattoo. That's it. You know, and I
Yep.
started to gear my life towards that.
Yep.
And I'm still trying to figure out whether or not that's a good thing. But it's definitely led me in a direction, you know?
Well, like without even realizing you're doing it, you're setting your intention. So
True.
you were drawing that energy even before you realized that. You know what I mean? There's a power in that and setting your intention like with purpose. And it's really cool that you were doing that already. And I think a lot of us in this group in this forum have felt the same way. So it is cool that you did know that and you find something and it's like, I'm gonna follow this as far as I can. I'm gonna keep going with it as much as possible. And it works, man. Like we all met each other on this thing, you know, on this path. It seems so crazy how with the timing and stuff that we met each other too. You know, it's pretty wild.
Yeah, and I bet you guys are kicking yourselves in the ass for meeting me.
No, it's more like I miss Jason. Where's
Nah,
Jason?
yeah, right. No one misses me. That's yeah. You get the hell out of here.
It's not true, Jason. We miss you so bad, boo.
Yeah,
You
man.
guys,
We use it all the
Ricardo,
time.
you probably just miss cuddling with me, but
Yeah, there is that. But no, for real, like it's cool, you know, like uh just sitting down and doing art with you guys. It's fantastic. It's fun. Talking about color, like, you know, the way we did the other night and everything, that was great. I dig it.
Color theory and understanding color and using color effectively. That's something that can take a very long time to comprehend. You know, and it takes some
Absolutely.
people their entire lives to really understand it.
Hmm.
You know, at the end of the day, we all have certain colors that we're drawn to, whether they're our favorite colors or least favorite colors, but we're still drawn to them regardless. You know, understanding that alone cuts out half the battle.
Oh yeah.
I feel that.
Yeah, you and your teal, Kira.
Teal.
You're
I'm
like, but
telling
it
you,
doesn't have teal in it, or aquamarine, or turquoise.
Where's the teal? Instead of where's the beef, it's like, where's the teal?
I'm telling you, I'm gonna make my own teal one day. It's gonna happen.
No, you should talk to Lauren.
Yeah. Make a custom teal. Not that it
Teal you
hasn't
later.
already been done, but maybe do like a muted teal set.
Why? Because I want
Boston.
muted colors.
Muted. When in
I
doubt,
see.
mute it out.
Oh.
When in doubt, black and gray it out.
Yep, that too. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but by using a black and gray undertone, you can actually it will automatically mute down your colors once you blast over it with color.
Chroma.
Bingo.
What is this? What is this chroma you guys speak about?
Chroma?
No, not the chroma tattoo pigments. Although I have
Go-
used those. Those are okay.
go further into detail with this definition of chroma, if you don't mind, please, guys.
Chroma is anything. So basically, like muting out a colors by using gray or its complementary. Anytime you want to bring a color to the gray family, you use chroma. Am I correct, Jason? Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Chroma is a way to describe where the color exists.
Yep.
Right. Is it a tint? Is it a tone? Is it a shade? Is it where does it lie? Is it a pure pigment? Is it a pure hue? You know, where does it lie in your color space?
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
To get it away from the super saturated family, usually.
Not
Especially
as
when you
intense.
first helping me out and you told me not to use gray and why, I was mind blown.
Well, it wasn't that we weren't telling you to use gray. We were telling you not to mix gray wash
Yeah, wash.
color.
Yeah.
Big difference there.
Yeah, that was the first time we were talking. It was like ding, 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 ding. Like, holy crap, we got it. We figured it out. Incredible.
How
It's
fun.
like that's gonna be your problem right there. Yep, that'll do it.
That's
Which
the
is
ticket.
awesome. It's awesome that we all don't take each other seriously, that we actually learn from what we say.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I think my favorite part about our crew is.
But the
Oh, no,
RIT,
man.
man, the RIT is what brought it together, though. Like, seriously.
Absolutely. Thanks to them, we all have learned so much.
Pretty much, dude. And then being open to it at the right times, too.
You think that's important?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of people that, let's see. I mean, you can have conversations with people sometimes and you see something that could benefit them, but that, you know, the ego state almost even is like what keeps people from being able to be open to listening to suggestion sometimes, you know what I mean? Like, and it can impede you quite a bit. So like on both ends, there's like growth on both sides where once when you can realize that it's time to set aside all your crap and go, okay, I get it. You're looking out and you care enough to say that, because it's hard to say that to people, right? So you actually care enough to say it, and you have to be able to be open to interpret it and like take it in too. So you grow on both sides of it. Yeah, not take it personally, right? Exactly. And a lot of times with art, especially, you know, there's an I don't know about you guys, man, but for the longest time there was like this emotional attachment with it, where like if it was bad, it definitely affected me in like a bad way, you know, emotionally and like physically and stuff. I got to be all bummed out if I fuck something up. Like for weeks, it was terrible.
Yeah, you
So
get
there's
over
this,
that though. You have to.
yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. You're right. And yeah, you know, and you also have to learn to kind of like let that part of yourself go too. Like there's still an attachment, but you know, we live to fight another day. I always think of Farmer Ted and Waterboy. We live to fight another day. But
Yeah, speaking of
Absolutely.
which, I may get you guys to give me a little critique here and let me know what you think about the direction I'm heading with this.
okay.
I've decided to put like an Art Nouveau swirl in the background. Just some of those like swirly lines. They're going to be done in almost the negative. But I'm actually wondering now if I'm going overboard with it.
What makes you think that you're going overboard with it right now?
Well, I had this version, right? But it was just too complex and I didn't like the motion that it was creating down in the corner. It almost seemed too linear and not rounded enough. I do kind of like the way that I did this area over here. And then I was playing around with it in a symmetrical way, right? So I was like, okay, well, maybe I can just do that as like a background, you know, kind of spicing it up. And then I started to overlay like a color to it, right? So, and then put this back here.
Too far down.
Yep. And then what did I do? I would go here, select. Select all of my background area, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I would go invert, erase.
You're so fast at that, dude. It's incredible.
Well, it's all repetition. It is all repetition, right?
Man, dude, like look at that. I would have been going through and like erasing each little part and then redrawing the line and
Me too,
blurring
man. Me
things
too.
together. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Like-
efficiency, right? When you pick up certain little efficient ways of doing things, it can really make a world of difference.
Yeah, absolutely.
So like I could do that in like the negative. I think I just need to thin the lines out a little bit more. But I wanted to give it more of like a more of a visual flow, right? So I wanted to take your eye from the bottom right and sweep it up so that it really brought your eye all the way around, right? Because I have a lot of great movement here, which can direct your eye. I've got a lot of great diagonal lines in these petals and the overall diagonal shape of this flower, right? And I already have somewhat of a visual flow with this flower into this flower into this one. And then this is going to bring your eye all the way around it. But unless I have something that's going to lead my eye around to this spot, you know, I almost feel like it's missing something, right? Some type of direction or some type of a je ne sais quoi, right?
Je ne sais
I
quoi.
don't know what, right?
So
But it's missing something.
so go without the lines. Let's see it without the lines and stuff real quick.
Mhm.
Let's see. And you want to pin your picture too, if you don't mind.
Yeah, can you hold it up just a little bit? If your iPad, if you could. Or yeah, that.
Also, Kira, did you see Gabe's comment?
No.
Okay.
What did he say?
To post the link up in the RAT app.
Yes, sir. I will do that right now.
And then I'll spotlight myself. So this is kind of what this is it without any of the swirls, right?
Okay. So
And we can kind of move this way so you guys can see everything. It's weird because it's in a weird like proportion. But,
yeah.
this is going to be like the best way that I can illustrate what I'm trying to get around. So like this part right here draws your eye and creates movement all the way up and around because it starts small and it's going to draw your eye up from here all the way around because this is connecting to here. So it's going to move your eye up here just based on that gradual increase in size. From there, it's going to move your eye back down around with it shrinking. So what I'm essentially trying to do is draw the eye from this area, which is pretty open and pretty empty, right? And let me draw that in a different color. So I'm trying to draw your eye from this area here around so that your eye will move up to this area.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm trying to really create that kind of motion and that kind of dynamic flow, bringing your eye all the way up and around. You know, if I don't end up with anything in this area, oh, well, I can just draw some like wavy lines and it'll be cool. Or I can come up with like a little bit of like just a weird kind of stylish pattern.
See right there,
Here.
the last one that you just did. That's exactly what I was going to suggest. It's something like that, but mirrored on the other side. So you would see like without the arrow in the middle and without that circle down on the bottom right, that top left one that you just drew, I would mirror that on the other side. And except for if it having it curve into the frame at the bottom part of it, I would have it almost go straight down and parallel, like mimic that straight down parallel line for the border. But you want to make that line that you just drew a lot thinner, as far
Well,
as
obviously.
you don't want it to make it the same as the margin, that border line that you have. And the only thing I was gonna say is, like, if you flip it upside down, like when you turn it upside down, there you go. Now you have a lot of interesting composition going on in here already. Those lines that you're talking about, you already have. Like when you look at the purple lines that you just drew with it going swooping over to the right and then up to the left, that already happens with those peonies. And you already have the leaves and stuff like that intersecting, creating those like angles, those intersecting lines. We always are drawn to like intersecting pattern.
Right.
And
right.
yeah, so like you have that negative space here on the left and you have a little bit of negative space on the right. I think if you took that curved line and mirrored it on the left side, it's going to fill in that gap that you're missing. And I think that's what it is that you're fighting. But down there at the bottom, the part that you just started to draw, I would do it kind of, yes.
So you're saying something almost like that?
Almost just like that, except for at the bottom portion of it, where you just left off of, I would go straight up here. I'll show you on my real quick.
You would move this almost in a very soft arc.
Yep. And then have it come back out and then mirror the parallel margin line, that border, and just go straight down with it. Just a little bit of a gap right there. Yep. Yep. And then just take it away from that margin too. Yeah, something along those lines. Here, let me just draw this for you real quick. So you have a thicker border.
So you're saying something almost like that, right?
Like that. See the way it's paralleled?
Yeah.
And it goes straight down, something like that. Yes, exactly. And maybe just bring it a little bit closer to the border though, instead of having it so far away. Yeah.
See, I was actually trying to keep a little bit more separation from the border.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I didn't want it to be too close to it to confuse your eye that it's a second border within it.
Yep. But it definitely fits out that key frame, and then those parallel lines moving upwards, including with the leaf work that you already have on the angles, helps your eye graduate towards the top that you're trying to draw the viewer's eye to.
See, I still think it needs a little something in like some of this background negative space.
Mm-hmm. Maybe a little bit of a texture in the paint. Maybe a little bit of a tooth showing through, like if you have a watercolor paper filter on your layers, and one of your layers, it might help with that, because I think it's a textural thing that you're minded.
So I'll show you kind of what my references are. So this is a book called Epic Designs that I downloaded from a site called Illustrated Monthly.
Okay.
And they've got a whole bunch of like super cheap, royalty-free design books and reference images and tattoo books and stuff like that. It's all royalty-free and it's all like dirt cheap. I think they're like $4, $3 or $4.
So, but what you mean by royalty free is like, if you wanted to copy it verbatim, you could copy it for like, and nobody would get pissed at you. There would be
exactly. I wouldn't be violating any kind of like a copyright law or anything like that.
Okay.
And so I downloaded this one, and it's got some good stuff in it as far as like Art Nouveau designs and motifs.
Yeah, I can see that.
So awesome. I was looking through this last night as inspiration, and then I realized that I had an entire book of Muka.
Yep. Oh man.
And it's like 62 pages of super high resolution scans and photographs of Muka work. And if you notice in like the background here, he's got a little bit of like an Art Nouveau pattern. This is pretty much taken up, but like he's got a lot more activity in his background with not a whole lot of just blank negative space.
So go back to that left, go back. Okay, the second one from the left. Now, do you see how he has that little bit of a like it looks like a key silhouette, that goldish color of on top of the orange next to the border? Right there,
here?
yep. Yep, and on both sides. So on this side, it's covered from the fabric. On the left, it's covered from the fabric. But on the right, you see more of the shape. But you can see how that shape, even though there's a, what is the right way to say it? Even though there's like more of that gold color shown on the right side, there's still that parallel line that follows the border. Like even that
I
marginal
see
gap
what you're
there.
saying.
Yeah, so no matter what he's doing, he's still following that line to kind of bring the eye up into that heavier weight that is at the top and it is at the focal point. And those irises are doing the exact same thing that your peonies and your leaves are doing, which is creating an intersecting line throughout the entire piece. It's creating those triangles. Triangles, man, triangles.
See, I think the one thing that I keep going back to is the fact that there's still like down here in the negative space in the background behind those irises, you still have a lot of this visual movement
Yes.
with the
Yep.
fabric to draw your eye up,
Right.
right?
Right.
And you can see if you look carefully, like he'll draw your eye from here all the way up around into the curve of this leg.
Yeah,
right?
I agree. Yep, I agree. But you can also see how it's
And
much dark.
you're right. This does bring your eye up further because they are two parallel lines, more or less, that bring your eye up into everything else going on here.
Exactly.
And then you've got some visual lines of sight that will take your eye from this area all the way up, and it's going to direct your eye up to the elbow.
Mm-hmm.
The bold line around the silhouette of the figure, around the shape of the figure, is going to draw your eye back over and in. This is going to
Mm-hmm.
draw your eye back up. But this circle that encompasses everything is going to draw your eye around it as well.
Right. And then the other thing that's helping as well is those parallel lines, or as far as the horizontal lines, like her forearm creates a horizontal line that goes straight across her face and into the background. And then below that is the same mirrored line right behind her breast and like right at her, the bottom part of her ribs, down just a little bit lower, right there. And you can see how it incorporates different colors and different values, but in the background, there's still that same simple kind of wash. And on the right side, it's a little bit darker than it is on the left side. So it creates that variation. And I think that's what's missing in yours at the bottom is that variation of color. Because like when you were talking about, yeah, so I think we were missing the variation in color. So I think if you left it open with a simple bordered, like mirrored border behind it in the background, I think that color variation is going to help draw the eye up a little bit higher. So if you went darker towards the bottom and graduated into that lighter tone towards the top of that bigger peony at the top, I think it'll help out a lot. So you can do that with like a texture kind of thing, like watercolor, because these are all watercolor and you can see the little bites of color that are like kind of grabbing at more of the paper where it was wetter, where it was drier.
Yeah.
So there's all those little inconsistencies that create that visual like interest. And it's in all his work. Like, look how open the bottom of that one on the left is. So yeah, that second one right there. Right. Look how open, it's all open, but look at all the variations in tone.
Right. And it's that angular variation and it's that movement created by those tones that really draws your eye from this corner all the way up into the rest of the piece.
Right.
And you see that kind of linear visual movement, even over here with the hair.
Mm-hmm.
It's moving your eye up and around.
Yeah.
So I was trying to incorporate more of that.
Yes.
Into it.
See.
I mean, even with like some of the, actually, I see exactly what you're saying now.
And I see exactly what you're saying as well, because you're right. And I think what it is that to create that movement, instead of focusing so hard on like the linear aspect of it, I think you need to go with more of a subjective kind of feel to it, looser and softer. And not take away from that nice contrast of that green and that blue.
Let's see what we can do here. Let's go with something with a little bit more of like a grunge feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
Yeah, something with some tooth. Yeah, something with some tooth and some kind of like distortion or distraction to it. Yeah.
And then let's select our blue and we'll make a variation off of this.
Yeah, some of those like
Or
grays.
maybe we'll take, instead of doing that, we'll make it a little bit darker and we'll go with a triadic color. Maybe that like off-tone purple.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. Yeah, because it complements that green too. Excuse me, I'm so sorry about that. I apologize.
Sorry about what?
I just burped. I couldn't tell if you guys heard it or not.
Nope.
Good. Well, I just drew attention to myself for no good reason then.
Yeah, way to go.
Man, oh
All right,
man.
so let's,
I'm just being honest.
what I did here is I duplicated the layer that I have all this color on. And I'm just going to go through and selectively remove the blue
Yeah.
from this duplicated layer.
Yeah.
So that way I can start playing around with it in like real time in real space.
Yes. Yeah. See, look at the bottom of that already, man. Like if you were to cover up the top portion of it with your hand and that bottom portion already looking so dark, it looks killer. Man, that's a solid piece too, dude. Yeah, look at that. That looks so cool already. Like just the design is already so awesome. Man, you're killing this one, Jason.
Well, with as many hours as I've put into it, drawing and drafting and redrawing and, you know, everything of that nature. Nah, I should have gone with a blue.
Maybe make the
Let's look
brush
at
like
blue.
way big too. I always just kind of scumble over the surface with stuff like
Well,
this.
so if I'm going to do, so this is actually a brush I picked up from one of the guys that's tattooed me, who came out with a couple of his own brush sets. His name is Dave Tevenaugh.
Okay.
He created a few different sets for Tattoo Smart.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to figure out which ones they were. They were.
You got a
So he's
library right
got
there.
the battle damage. The battle damage brush sets from Dave are amazing. These are, he's got a lot of like sketch pencils and liners and like, you know, some rough liners with like actual like ink kind of textures to them. He's got some wet pencils, but he also has a great set of like grainy smudges
Mm-hmm.
and like hazy dust and soft wash. If you get his 2-pack, which comes with Battle Damage and Battle Damage 2, he also did the Dojo Weapons series, which are awesome. Those are more like stamp brushes.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a lot of different like textures and sketch pencils and like shading for different types of texture effects. But some of the ones I really like from him are like the grainy splash. I use that one a lot. The Galaxy Burn's a really fun one.
There you go.
Where you can just create real rough, very light atmospheric textures.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. I'd definitely go heavier towards the bottom.
Once again, though, I'm still trying to like maybe bring it around and create some other types of like
Yes. That
visual
swooping
flow.
motion. Yeah. Yes. And it also intersects with the angle that you have those other leaves at the top going too, and complements that bottom set of leaves at the bottom right.
Too much. And too much of a pure chroma.
Maybe go like a grayed out.
Yeah,
muted.
that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put it more on a let's take the saturation down a bit. Might have gone too dark with it. And I might actually switch over to something that's a little bit lighter.
I can't wait to paint with you again so you can see how sloppy I get with it.
See, I might not be like I'm one of those tattooers where like I don't care if my tattoo is like a little bit messy from line work or black shading, or if I have like residual color on there. That doesn't bother me at all. But like when it comes to painting, I'm a very, very neat painter.
Yeah.
And like I'm like almost ain't like I even use some of the oh, who makes them now? Uh what's the name of that company? It's I can't even think of the guy's name that owns the company. It's where's Tattoo Supply? I'm sure that's the True Tubes company.
Okay.
True Tattoo System or True Tattoo Supply. If you're looking, and I'm going to be bringing a whole bunch of these with me, and you'll see how anal I get with it.
Okay.
But they actually have, I'll show you what I use for acrylic paintings. There is
Well, those are those markers you were showing me.
no.
Okay.
That's my secret.
Oh, I don't know what markers I'm talking about. No, you know what though? I do have these watercolor brushes that are like pens. They're pretty cool. Like you just add a little bit of water to them and stuff. And oh yeah, those trays. Yeah, those trays
So
are
this is what
awesome.
I use when I paint, believe it or not.
Oh, okay.
These large cap trays, which are in personal opinion here, but like I used to tattoo with these. These are like a number 33 cap. They're
Okay.
about an inch wide each.
Oh, I like that.
Okay. You've
Yeah.
got 2-inch wide rinse areas. And I realized how much pigment I was wasting by filling these all the way up.
Yeah.
And I was
Okay.
like, I was sitting down and I was like, Jesus, I'm not using most of this. And so I started to actually go with a smaller version of a tray because they've got the large cap trays and then small cap trays. And the small cap trays, which let me see if I can find a picture of them, are great for like watercolor. And like if you
Oh
work with Doc
yeah.
Martens at all, they are
Okay.
unbelievably great for like working with Doc Martens. This is a new
Yeah.
version of them that they came out with.
Okay.
Um,
That's along the
but
lines of what we used at your shop when we tattooed together, wasn't it?
kind of. I got those
Yeah.
from a different company.
Yeah. Okay. That's it. Okay. Yeah, I
Those
like those,
actually
man.
look like
Those
they've
are
got
nice.
smaller caps in them. Those look like standard number. No, those are the large caps.
So they have a
Yeah.
designated
So,
home for everything. So that's pretty cool. They have a spot where you can put your machine down. They have the
yep.
spot for the ointment and everything like that.
And it's all disposable.
Your cartridges. I was talking to
You
Kier
just
about that
toss
whenever
the
she was
whole
here.
tray out when you're done with it.
Yeah, that's what I was telling her. It's like it's super convenient for that reason. It's way cleaner, you know,
Absolutely.
technically speaking,
And
the
one of the
asepsis approach.
and one of the like little tattoo convention hacks that I heard a few people talking about before was that you can go through even with just these alone. You flip them upside down. You throw all of the supplies that you'll need for like one tattoo in the back, like in the back portion of them. Wrap the whole thing up in plastic wrap, and there's your one tattoo tray setup, right? So
Convenient.
you can have all of the supplies. You can have like a packet of A&D ointment or Vaseline or whatever, Glide product you're using. You can have a single razor blade to shave with. You can have a pack of like MD wipeouts in the back. You can have, a dip cap if you want to have a dip cap in there. Whatever you need, you throw it all right in the back of it, wrap the whole thing up in plastic wrap, and that is your one setup for a tattoo, right?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
everything you'll need to do one tattoo. Now, I use a different tray system now, but these for acrylic paintings are unreal because you have 3 different rinse cups that you can utilize. You've got some bigger trays for if you know you're going to be using a bigger quantity of one color or the other. You've got
Yeah.
some smaller ones for like smaller little accent colors or mixing. And you actually have an area, even with the large caps, you have an area that you can use as like a mixing palette.
Mm-hmm.
So you can go through and add like, let me dip into this color and this color, and then I'm just going to like put them here, mix them around a little bit, and then paint with that. And if I'm done with that, I'll just wipe it off and I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah. It's killer.
So like it's little things like that that can make a world of difference in just efficiency when painting. But like everything to me, in my opinion, when I paint, everything needs to have a place, you know?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Totally get
But
it.
like throwing paint on a canvas, that's the easy part. It's making sure that you're achieving the outcome that you're looking for. That is ultimately the tricky thing.
Right.
So I added in a little bit of a splash there. Let's go through, remove some of this in the negative spot. Like anywhere that's not currently colored in, because I'm still working on that color scheme. I think I had originally planned on doing them in like a pale yellow,
Mm-hmm.
but I think I might actually change that up and go with more of like a deco pink.
Nice.
You know, kind of like a desaturated kind of off tone, like pinkish color,
Yeah.
at least for the tips of the flowers. I may still end up going with a like a pale yellow for the interior, but I
Mm-hmm.
think going with like a deco pink would be a very good idea to contrast some of the blue. Especially if I plan on adding in gold leaf accents, which was my original concept.
Right.
Having something that is still subtle and subdued in color tone, and then having these bright gold leaf metallic accents is really going to help set those off.
Yeah, for sure.
And now I'm thinking I might go back through and add some of this negative space background color as well,
Mm-hmm.
as like a negative kind of visual line of interest.
Yeah, I would definitely play with the opacity on it and play with like layering some more things on top of it too, for sure. And go a little bit, broader with that same darker tone towards the bottom.
You think?
I would. You could always do another layer and test it out and see what you think. Yeah. And then add just a little bit more of that light blue. I can't really see the bottom of it right now.
And I can always smudge this around too.
Yeah, definitely smudging. I love that feature, man. That's my favorite. It's one of 2 or 3 of my favorites.
Yeah, it really is just like you're moving. If you have your brush set up right, it's just like moving paint around on a canvas.
Yeah, watercolor for sure. Absolutely.
Oh no, even acrylic, man. Like
Yeah.
if you really throw on some medium body acrylics or even some heavy body acrylics, and you've got plenty of paint on the canvas, you're literally just moving that paint around. You don't even really need to dip again. You're just kind of like moving it back and forth and blending it a little bit here and there, maybe adding a little bit of texture, you know, maybe leaving some rough brush strokes here and there to kind of give it direction.
Mm-hmm.
Can I show my homework?
Yes.
I
Okay.
suppose.
Hold on, let me spotlight you. Go for it.
Okay. Oh, I'll try to face it this way now if you can see it. You're zooming in.
Nice. I like
There we
what you got going on. There we go. That's
There you
focused.
go. Yeah.
pick it up now.
So for those of you that don't know, and I'll probably be discussing this with Jake tomorrow morning, is our homework assignment was to do a hand, but make it look like it was made out of wood.
You're nailing it. Nailing it. I like the swirls that you usually see with wood, but I also like how you're creating that like contour, like especially around that palm part of the thumb and stuff like that too. Like it's really starting to kind of look rounded.
I think my eye is getting lost a little bit by the middle finger and like understanding that in relationship to the other ones.
Oh yeah. Just the shape of it maybe, or is it?
I don't know if it's the shape or just the value, because it almost seems as though the top knuckles of the ring finger and the pinky finger have a darker value up by that knuckle. And that's kind of doing something to my eye,
Yeah, I can see that.
where
Yeah.
it's pushing that middle finger forward more. And now it just looks like a stumpy middle finger.
Mhm.
No, I see what you mean. Yeah. Yeah. It's supposed to be bent, so I get it.
Right. So I think maybe playing with maybe doing a separate layer over top of that and then just working on your dark and light values,
Yeah.
could really help push and pull. Where the crease in the palm is down the middle of the palm, maybe
Mhm.
make that a tiny bit lighter, or bring some of that dark into that muscle by the thumb to
Okay.
help smooth that out a little bit, because as it stands now, it creates almost too sharp of an edge.
Okay.
Do you see what I'm talking about?
I do. Yes, I do. Yeah. That makes sense. Okay. Thanks.
Yeah. And once
I
again,
appreciate it.
this is just my 2 cents. You do not have to listen to me. You do not have to acknowledge anything that I say. All I'm doing is just giving you my personal perspective and opinion on it.
Well, I appreciate your professional opinion on it.
Mhm.
I am by no means a master artist. I still have a lot more to learn, and I am not perfect. I know this, but I'm just pointing out what I see and what my eye is being drawn to.
I would
Thank
say
you.
it's definitely that one piece. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. But it's you can get lost in the texture, and so like your overall values can get a little messy. Is that just me feeling that way, or
Oh no, you absolutely. I completely agree.
Can I show you guys mine?
No.
Negative.
yeah?
All right, I'll spotlight you. Go ahead.
All right.
I hate you.
So I'm fighting with that white highlight behind it. I don't know if I need to bring more of that blue color in the background and get rid of more of that white, or if it looks okay this way.
Teal.
Teal. Yeah, a teal would look nice behind it, probably.
I'm sorry, Kira, were you saying something? All I heard was this weird high-pitched squeaky sound. I'm not
Some,
sure if
some
someone's got a dog around here and they're playing with a squeaky toy, or
some teal would look epic.
there it is again. Did you hear that? I just heard it
I
again.
think I heard
Is that
something
coming
like
from
that.
you, Ricardo?
It is. It's like my burps are turning into not burps, but like little squeals. It's crazy.
That's awesome.
So I did do that thing that we've been talking about, like when in doubt, black and gray it out. So I did this. Let me see.
You turned it into the monochromatic value study.
Yeah. So, I mean, to me, it looks pretty sound, but I'm not sure what you guys think about it.
You have your contrast in all the right places. You've got your detail in the right places and in the right quantities. I mean, the only real bit of advice I could ever possibly give you on that,
Yeah.
because that is absolutely awesome.
Thank you, man. I just heard guy in my head going, make sure, he's like, I would have just made it bigger. I would have just made it bigger. So
Yeah,
I try to make it, as big as it needed to be in order to fit with that overall like frame and the space kind of thing that's got that night sky kind of thing.
I like that interior oval bend.
Okay.
I think you may want to move that up slightly to create just a little bit more separation between the tips of the fingers.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, that's really all I would do.
Yeah,
Okay.
I agree.
Especially if you keep your background at like a neutral gray tone.
Okay.
I think
Like,
that's going to be absolutely awesome.
so you mean,
Yeah. Like
so go
I
ahead.
got nothing, dude. I got
Right.
nothing.
Radical.
Depending on how much emphasis you wanted to keep in that arc at the top,
Mm-hmm.
you may want to throw a little bit of that blue over top of that interior arc.
I was thinking the same thing. I think that would
just to
help
make it a
create.
little bit more subtle.
Yeah. I agree with you. Do you think that that would help with that gap between the fingers and the arc then too? Which I
Oh,
think
without question. It's
Okay,
going to
cool.
push it further into the background.
Right.
And
Okay.
it's definitely going to make it a lot more subtle and allow the tips of those fingers to stand out a lot more.
Okay.
You may also want to add just a hair bit more contrast where that thumb is, because even so, like if I'm sitting back and I'm kind of blurring my vision a little bit,
Yeah. It blends together too much, doesn't it?
the bottom edge of the thumb is kind of blending in with the center of the palm.
Right. Right. So I think I need to go in with like a little bit more of that black and red and tie that together. Because you can see on the tips of the fingers, like it looks really dark back there. And I like that. There's definitely some separation. And I think if I use that same kind of color down towards the thumb, it will help it out a lot. Like even back here on these fingers. Not as dark as this though. More like these guys right here.
Yeah.
And then put that along that bottom edge right here.
Yeah, you don't want to go with that same value though.
Right, because you
You
don't want to tie
definitely
it
want
in.
to keep that separation there.
Okay, cool.
But I mean, definitely bring it down like another notch.
Okay. Killer.
Damon just made a comment from the Reinventing group chat. He said maybe overlap a couple of fingers with the white line. That could also
Yeah,
work and help create separation,
I was thinking the same thing.
and maybe push that back further.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I wasn't sure if I should keep them separate. I'll do both and see which one we end up landing with. But thank you very much for that idea. Because I was wondering that when I first initially put the border on there, I was like, man, should I put it behind it or not? And I wasn't sure if that would make it look smaller than if that was the case, but it might make it look bigger, right? Because it has like some relation to like its surrounding as far as the size of it.
Yeah, well, I mean, the same could be said if you add a little bit more blue over top of it to push it back and make it a bit more subtle. It'll
Right.
create a further sense of depth because it's not going to be quite as bright. So it's going to be pushed back into that background where you have the rest of that blue.
Okay.
If you were going for more of like an Art Nouveau kind of look, I'd say try to keep it separated and really frame it out and maybe really make it look like it's a separate thing. But otherwise, hold on, let me send this. But otherwise, I think if you brought that back behind the hand, that would definitely create, if you didn't want to tone it down at all and but you still wanted to keep it there, then I would say bring it down behind the hand. That's going to push that hand forward more and push that into the background more. But you may still want to go through and tone it down just a hair.
I think you're right. You know, what sucks is that I deleted all of the layers in the work that I did too.
Are you kidding?
No, so I'm just gonna make some new layers and do a little bit more work to it. No big deal. But yeah,
That stinks, dude. I hate it when I do that.
I know,
That's
man.
why,
Tell me about
like,
it.
I constantly add new layers on this like draft of this painting.
Mhm.
I think I'm up to 72 layers.
Wow. Wow, dude. Holy crap. But a lot of them are like, you know, the practice runs and you keep those just in case because those might end up contributing to like another idea that you have later on down the road, right? Because
Exactly.
that's what I've noticed with this application. Like I'm learning new techniques even with the approach, like as far as the application goes, and it's pretty, so I can see why you would do that. That's pretty some pretty smart thinking there, bud. That's killer.
Yeah, when in doubt, I create a new layer, and I'll make the previous layer, you know, a bit less opaque,
Mhm,
and just kind of build and build and build and build until it's absolutely perfect.
mhm. Okay. All right. So a little bit more work, a little bit more work to do, and hopefully
Yeah,
I can turn this in
Damon
pretty
said he
soon.
was going to be jumping on in a little bit. I just sent him the link in the chat.
Killer. Awesome, man. The more the merrier.
Absolutely, man. I will be honest with you guys. I do have to get going right at about 3 o'clock today. It's only about 2:30 now, so we got like another half hour.
Okay.
Just because I'm going to be driving about an hour and a half south into Maryland, go and have dinner with a couple of college friends tonight.
Awesome.
Yeah, well, it's a dual dinner and consultation, because they're both trying to get tattooed, and it's like, okay, well, maybe we can all just get together for dinner, catch up, and we can go through and have a consultation as well.
That's cool. I'm really looking forward to getting back to, some sit downs like that, because it's fun to be able to go to breakfast or lunch or something like that with a client and just hang out, you know what I mean? And get to talk to them. And sometimes by getting to hang out with these people and talk to them, you get a vibe of where they might actually want to go with their tattoo. And you just offer those ideas to them and they're like, yeah, let's go for it, so it's pretty fun. It can add to the tattoo. And then also you can all write it all off too, Jason, your gas and everything.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So there you go. I'm fully vaxxed now, man. Like
Are you?
that
Good for you.
second shot didn't do anything to me at all. Nothing like the first one.
Yeah,
The
that
second
first
shot,
one had you down and out, man.
dude, a couple days. It was bad. I was like, I'm fine. No, I'm not.
Yeah. No, wait, never mind.
I'm not drunk. Whoa, I'm really drunk.
Yeah, it's like when you get up off of a bar stool after doing 6 shots. I'm
Yeah.
okay. Well, no, I'm definitely not okay.
Right, exactly. Hello.
Hello.
Yo,
How's it going?
Yo,
how's it going, guys? Good to see you.
Good to
what's
see you
going
too,
on,
man.
man?
Not too much. I'm working on some pencil and paper stuff here today.
Ooh, fancy.
Mm.
Yeah. But I have this big ass ornamental back piece type thing to do. And I just can't get the flow with it. Like on the smaller screen on the iPad, I have a harder time drawing big ass stuff like that,
Right on.
Can't get
I
my
hear
hand
you.
around.
Yeah, I've noticed
yeah,
that sometimes that approach, like with paper, so you can kind of stand back across the room and see the whole thing.
Yeah, or just like, I'm feeling pretty challenged by this piece. So I want to have a really good handle on it before Thursday when I go to put it on, or part of it,
Mm-hmm. It's looking cool.
I'm still kind of at the point where, like, I'm not a specialist known for one particular style. I work with my people in my town, so whatever they want to do that's popular at the moment, I have to do,
Yeah.
Right there with you, man.
So what do you guys do? And you have these days your clients have access to images of the best tattooers in the world, literally.
Mm-hmm.
And so what do you do when they come up with a totally, like, do you straight up turn down a decent amount of stuff? Like, I almost don't turn down stuff. I try to steer them towards a little bit of stuff my way, but I've been tattooing 20 some years. I know I can wrap my mind around it if I just put a little extra work in it,
Absolutely, man.
but I have to put a concerted effort into just like familiarizing myself with this kind of stuff, because it's really not what I do at all. It's very precise. Like, everything has to be perfect. It should be, and symmetrical and this and that. And usually I draw more flowy kind of stuff, organic-y kind of flow stuff, so
Right.
kind of a challenge, but I'm having fun getting back to making something that also is a piece that will be maybe frameable, or like, that's what I'm trying to do, make it an actual frameable piece. That way I think her tattoo will go a little better that way.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely, man. Absolutely. Yeah. I think a lot of that ends up coming down to the individual artist. I always ask them, like, okay, what parts of this do you really, really like? Is it the bold lines? Is it the intricacy? Is it the detail? Is it the shapes? Is it the patterns? You know, is it the complexity of the design? Is it where it is on the body? What part of this draws your eye to it? And what part of it do you like the most? And then that allows me to focus in more on that.
Oh, for sure.
You know, and it's an easy way to sit down and say, okay, cool, we'll add some of that in there. But, you know, just giving you a heads up, like I'm going to add in my own little thing so that it's, you know, unique for you. You know, a lot of times it's in how you phrase what you're telling them.
Yeah.
That really ultimately determines it. But I mean, you already know that. So.
Oh, I'm always really open with my clients I think maybe even a little too open sometimes. I'm like, well, we'll give it a shot. It's a learning experience, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Like, whoa, wait a minute. You don't know exactly what you're doing. It's like, well, I'll figure it out on the way down, you know?
It's like, yeah, no, it's okay to tell them that, man, to just be genuinely honest. You know what I mean?
Oh, I love, it's really open with and I let them know that I appreciate the opportunity to like try and level up, you know, on their behalf.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm always appreciative of that as well.
And they let me do, they push me to do stuff I'm not comfortable with a lot of times. Certain people, you know, they know for a fact that they're like, come on, I know you can do it. I'm like, no, I can't do it. And they're like, you can do it.
And then at the end of the day, you're like, thanks for pushing me, man. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, I did kind of do it.
Right. Yeah. All right, we're here. We made it.
Shit.
No, I feel you, dude. There's a lot of people that bring in the tattoo as they want it, just like that. You know, and you have to kind of, that's a good time to sit down and kind of educate them on, you know, a lot of people that do that sometimes it's because they're getting their first couple tattoos, you know? So they don't really know how to convey what it is that they're trying to, like the idea. They just know that they've seen it. And a lot of times what ends up happening after you talk with them about it and you educate them on the fact that you don't want to steal somebody else's tattoo. You don't want that person has put that much investment into it financially and physically. And so the artist has put a lot of time into it, like as far as his effort and his abilities. So like you explain things like that to them. And a lot of times they realize that it's just the feel of the image that they dig, you know?
And also there's part of the culture now that the client comes prepared knowing that that's why they'll never pick flash piece off the wall anymore. It doesn't matter if they've never seen it before or if it's awesome or not. It's on a wall and somebody else might have it. So to give them the opportunity to have a one of a kind, we have the opportunity to put as much time into this as we need to make it 100% yours, you know?
Yep.
Never seen another one like. And I tell them to take a look through the rest of my work, and we can, if you see some examples, or, you know, I had a person literally send me a picture of a Phil Garcia rose.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. Which also is like, so I bring that up to people like, oh, I want to get a rose tattoo from, okay, cool. And then they send me a picture, something like this. And I'm like, awesome. I can point you towards Phil's direction. He comes to town sometimes when he does convention. But in order to get that piece or a piece like that, you're going to have to talk to him. But you can look at some of my examples of roses in my book. I have a little more of an illustrative feel to it. It has lines, you know, I have lines and stuff in my tattoos, and like he doesn't. I don't even know how he's doing all that stuff.
Yeah, dude, it's mind warping when you look at the
that would take 12 or 15 hours too. It's a difference between a $1,200 tattoo and a $300 tattoo.
Oh, you mean you can't just get it done in like, you know, an hour? I figured that it'd just take about an hour. What are you talking about?
Master, they do it in 15 minutes.
Right.
So
I mean, I feel you. I've actually told people a couple times, like, man, if you really like this style, go to that person and get it done. They're like, well, they're in Spain. I'm like, have you ever been to Spain before? No. Well, then now's a perfect time to go visit and get tattooed while you're there, man. Like, go for it.
Flights are dirt cheap. You can get a cheap flight there. You know, you can't go wrong. Plus, you get a vacation out of it.
Yeah, exactly. Have an adventure.
Ricardo, check this out. I had a client I told the same thing to, and I've got he's like a collector, and I'm like, you know, man, like I'm flying up. He's like, well, where'd you get your stuff done? I'm like, well, I flew to Seattle to Adam Art Core and had my piece on my neck done, you know, on my throat. And I flew back the next day, and I told him, you know, it's worth the plane trip and stuff like that. And next time I see him, he's like, oh, I made an appointment with Adam Art Core up in Seattle, and I'm like, oh, that's awesome. What are you gonna get? He's like, oh, I think I'm gonna get like a rose on my neck, on my throat there, kind of like what you got.
Oh man.
Damn, dude.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what they say. It's the highest form of flattery, I guess, right?
Oh yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. He's kind of that kind of a guy.
Yeah.
Like what? Oh man.
Like,
No, you're
cool.
not. Oh well, I didn't invent the fucking concept, so
Right. I feel you though, like it's a little direct to home, right?
yeah, come on, guy.
But you got a happy dude in the background.
Yeah, Jaker. That's
Hello,
his only
Dylan.
with other people too. He loves it when I Zoom meet with people.
Yeah, that's awesome. Like, I want to talk too.
Yeah, he's been trying to climb up here and give you guys his ball. Like he doesn't know.
That's
He's
awesome,
like, "Ooh,
man.
new friends,
I think I'm
new
getting
friends. I want to play."
this ball right here.
That's killer, dude. Look at that.
That's awesome.
Where Jaker? It's great.
So, Damon, how long? So you're saying that piece comes in on Thursday.
Yeah.
Do you stay booked out for a long time? Or how do you usually try to handle appointments like that? Like, what's your approach with it?
I'll book them out. Something like this, I'll put out a little bit longer than I'm actually booked, just because I needed a little extra time to wrap my mind around this. Right now, since with COVID and everything, we're not booked. I'm not booked out far. My weekends get a little bit booked up, but my weekdays, I have random weekdays here and there. But I pushed her out from our initial consultation a couple weeks so I could get my mind wrapped around this whole thing. You know, this is the first of like a big ornamental piece like this on a whole back that I've done. So it's pretty specific stuff. I was even thinking about like ordering another coil, like busting out the coils again for this piece,
Right.
for the line stuff. I was going to ask you guys actually about lining with rotaries, and if you guys use the X1 or if you have any issues or any tips on big. It seems like they don't make a big enough group when you talk about cartridges. Like a 14 round shader in a needle bar is like 3 times the size of a 14 round in the cartridge, depending on who makes it. Yeah. I bought some 15 rounds and they look almost like a fucking 8 or something.
So it must have been a
like
tight. Was it a tight or a
all
long
depends
taper?
on the company, man. It
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
depends on the company.
I
mean,
agree.
If you get a 14 round liner from Black Claw, it is true
yeah.
to size a 14 round liner.
Absolutely.
Even 11, yeah, definitely. But then I got them like the Da Vinci ones. I think are running small, and any kind of off-brand ones run way tiny small. But Da Vinci ones I thought were going to be really good, but I thought they run a little bit small too. Yeah. And I don't know if I can use the same trick, the lighter trick on a cartridge as much, but I might try it. Like loosen up the group.
I've done it. You got to be careful though that you don't open it up too much, because it will, like, those tips are manufactured for those specific groupings.
Yeah.
And if you open them up way too much, man, you're not going to get any ink flow out of them at all. So just be careful with that.
That's the issue with doing a piece like this with the ink flow kind of situation, I guess, is what it comes down to when you have, sometimes you run for, I had issues with certain cartridges, and I'm sure you guys have had too. It's like a nightmare where you run like the first millimeter is just fucking dry and then the fucking ink comes out.
Right.
Yes.
It's the worst nightmare. And then you got to just switch the fucking thing or like something, because I've had a whole situation where it's like, God damn it, that whole piece kind of suffered because I had to fucking go back and fuck with that line again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually know a guy from Scotland who I've been begging him for a while to teach me like his techniques. But this guy will sit down and he'll outline a whole back with some of the biggest, boldest lines you have ever seen in your life. And he'll do it all in 4 hours flat.
Wow.
And it's like, how are you doing that? What are you using to line it all with? And I mean, the dude is insanely fast. Actually, I'll pull up, I've been trying to get him on some of these drawing groups too, but I'll pull up his Instagram page real quick so you can see what I'm talking about. His name is Mikkel Ostberg. I believe he's working at White Tiger Tattoo.
Yeah, I think I follow that guy where he has videos of just laying down the cleanest lines like in one pass with big needle groups and stuff. I wonder if that's the same guy. But I do see a lot of that on Instagram. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the guy I'm talking about. And he did give me a little bit of insight into it. And I've seen his work in person and it is flawless. So like this one, I remember asking him, you know, like how, because he told me it only took 4 hours to outline it.
High speed,
And
man. You got to crank that fucker.
Yeah.
I'm like, how did you do that? And he's like, oh, it's easy. You know, I used a mag. And I'm like, what
Oh.
size mag did you use? And he's like, oh, I think he said he used something like a 25 mag on it to outline it.
Yeah, dude.
He's fucking with me.
And you know, the funny thing is, like, he did a live stream over quarantine, and he was outlining this piece on his wife. And I was watching him, and he was using
look at
a
that Fudo.
big ass mag to outline everything. And I'm like, how the fuck are
Sideways?
you doing that?
I
He's
thought about
he's-
using the 5 mag for this, but yeah.
Jason, you did a little bit of that on that back piece we worked on, didn't you?
Absolutely, man. I'm still
That's
trying to
what I
get the
thought.
hang of it, but
Yeah, you did a little bit of that on that back piece that we worked on. I was watching that. I was like, God damn, look at that.
If you
Yeah, he
watch like Chris Powell, like these guys from Aisle 9 Tattoo as well, I got inspired to try and just keep the mag out to make the edges because they really don't use lines. You know, they're building the edge of something super complicated like a fucking pocket watch or something, but he's not using a liner at all. And
Yeah.
I try to do that. I've been doing more oil painting since all this shit slowed us down a little bit, and that's helped me to like just use the mag like with more confidence to make the edges and whatnot.
I talk about that a lot.
The way I tend to look at it is, you know, when you boil it down, what is an outline, right? Those outlines that we see are shapes. They're areas that can
Contrast.
very easily be filled in, right? And if all you're looking at them as is shapes, then yeah, just go through and fill it in with a mag as you're going, and then, you know,
Mhm.
smooth out the edges. Which is part of what I was working on with that back piece, Ricardo, is I would go through and I would just start chiseling away to fill in that line. And then I would go back through with like a smaller or medium-sized liner, just smooth out the edges along each side.
Yep.
You
It's
know,
almost
so
like
that's-
back in the, yeah, it's like, you know what I thought of whenever you told me about that was like back in the day when you're doing a bunch of tribal
Exactly.
and you're tightening up those corners before you even bust the mag out. You know what I mean? And you're busting out all your corners, like just filling that in with your liner. And then you go back in with your mag, lay it all down and just tighten up those little edges here and there. And that's it. I got you. I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
Did you guys ever line for tribal? Like I worked with a guy who would just kind of bloodline the tribal with a tight 7 and not worry about the lines really at all, and then just fill right up to it. And then his stuff really did look cleaner and nicer. Like I worked with a bunch of old timers who would give you shit all day, no matter what you did. And my one buddy would be like, nice outlines on that tribal, dingus. And I'm like, well, thanks. And he's like, hey, dumbass, you shouldn't see the outlines on the tribal, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, he's right there, though. You know, there's a grain of truth in that for sure. You shouldn't see the outlines on it. So that's kind of what I'm worried about with this piece. Like, I'm going to have to approach each section of lines like a tribal piece. So I'm actually kind of thinking about running a small line, like, you know, with a lighter wash and then filling in with the 5 or 7 mag as I go. But that's going to take forever and a day, but it might be the cleanest look for me rather than blasting the 14 round line and then filling those in.
Yeah.
That might cause scarring and on those lines and stuff too, you know?
You're going to cause way more trauma if you're using one of those huge ass liners or even a round shader to do it. Just because you have more pins per square inch, man. More pins per square inch means more trauma to the skin, you know, which can very easily lead to scarring. But if you're using a mag, even on its side, because like I'll do it, like if I'm working with tribal, what I'll end up doing is I'll use the edge of the mag, not the corner, but like the actual flat part, the edge of it. I'll
Yeah,
use
oh,
that
yeah.
to go through and whip through some quick lines real quick.
Uh-huh.
No, so that it's outlined, but it's not a hard outline, it's a soft outline. And then I'll fill everything
Yeah.
in up to that to keep those edges a little bit softer. And I've been using the same technique for outlining. I just run my machine a little bit faster, blast it in there. But since I'm using fewer pins per square inch, I'm finding that my lines are healing better, they're healing faster, and they're just as solid.
Or not, if not more solid, because it does push it out. You'll get that little crackly look if it's a little too chewed up, for
Right.
sure. And how about triple black versus regular black with dynamic? Do you guys fuck with that with the tribal type stuff or shit like this? The triple black?
I
mean,
haven't messed with it yet.
I've used it, and triple black is dark as shit.
It is. It really
dark.
does. But I've also had issues like, it's almost like on certain skin tones, there's almost such a thing as too dark on some of the line. Like it almost will blow out easier. Like at first I was all in love with it. Like, man, why have I not been using this like forever? And then when I saw like a healed piece where I thought it was a little bit more delicate, like you don't want to do as delicate of work with that because it's like the dye like just spreads almost a little bit more. It's almost like a dye instead of a regular pigment. But I do like it. I'll actually mix it like I like to actually do a little bit of a half and half, like mix it with the regular dynamic.
Yeah, just to bring that darkness in just a hair more.
Just give me a little bit more of a one pass line without hopefully blowing it out too much. Hi, Jaker.
Your dog is hilarious, dude. It's awesome.
He tries to jump up here. Yeah. He loves Zoom meetings.
Yeah,
And
you
then
know, go ahead, Jason.
Go ahead. No,
I was just gonna say, you know, when you're talking about the tribal thing, I think what tends to happen is over an amount of time, it kind of becomes fuzzy without those crisp edges. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whenever you do it, just bloodlining, and then you shade it in and maybe tighten it up here and there. I can see the idea, and I've done it a couple times too. But then when I see the tribal healed up a few years later, it's like, wow, it looks kind of fuzzy. We should probably go ahead and run an outliner on the whole thing in the perimeter of it. You know what I mean? So I think if you were to approach something that's this tight and that large scale the same way, it might have kind of a, you know, the opposite effect of what you're trying to do. Where
I definitely have to make the lines like after the fill in or something, you know, like, but maybe not like concentrate on, maybe just not make it one pass line my sole focus of the whole thing. I think I have to actually do a mix of both on this piece, to be honest. Like, there's areas that have to be one pass, like around these radiuses that don't have anything backing them up. Those are always fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. And symmetrical. And also I have a tendency, this would fit a fucking 300-pound man right here. Like, I have a tendency to fucking draw way too big on that shit. And I'm lucky though, I can scan this whole thing and shrink it down in one piece, but I decided to do it like this too, because I think I'll be able to do it in 4 stencil paper pieces.
Yeah.
You know, that's always a challenge too, putting the fucking stencil on, and this is going to be.
That's exactly what I was going to say, man. That's always like my headache or my anxiety moment. I'm like, oh shit.
And with, it's like, do you break it up? Do you break it up into 6 different pieces? But I don't think you can do that on a symmetrical mandala. I think I have to tape the whole thing together and aim for one shot.
Yep.
Definitely, dude. Mark your registration lines at the
center
of the back of the neck.
Marking. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Make sure that that's set up just right. Lay down that top portion with all your pages taped together, and make sure that that bottom portion is lined up right, and just one shot, dude.
Swipe it down. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll definitely have
I got a good stencil
me.
fluid right now too. I got a different I got a brand of stencil fluid that's almost like the fucking off brand, but it's a white one that doesn't leave a, like, it's not Electrum. Like, honestly, Electrum made for a fuzzy stencil for me. Yep. Like the edges of the stencil creep out from there, and I can't have that at all. Like, and so I was frustrated with that. The Mike Chambers made some really good stuff, but again, sometimes a little bit, either it comes off too quick or it's a little fuzzy, but I could almost go get the bottle or something, but it's like Best Value brand or something, like on Amazon, stencil fluid, and it's white, but it works the best that I've seen so far.
That's incredible.
With a really crisp line that does not fuzz out at all.
Yeah, I stumbled across some stuff when I was at London a few years ago. They were giving all the artists different samples of it. I wasn't working at the London show, but I was like, okay, well, if they're giving these guys samples of it to try out, maybe I'll pick up a bottle and bring it home. And I did, and dude, I've been using it ever since, and it's
It's
absolutely incredible.
it's pretty
It's
awesome.
called, yeah, it's called Stencil Plus from Aloe Tattoo. And I've gotten some of the crispest stencils that you could ever have. And it doesn't matter how old the stencil paper is that I'm using or what type of stencil paper. Because like I'll switch back and forth between the S8 red stencil paper if I really want to focus on my lines, just because it's easier to see if your lines are going on perfect. Or I'll go with like, standard Spirit Master, purple stencil. But
Oh,
it
you use the
gives you-
red. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, I use the red all the time. I love it.
Cool. That's cool.
Especially for intricate work like intricate line work that you really want to make sure those lines are perfectly solid. Sometimes I find that going with a purple stencil can be a little bit too dark.
Yeah.
So I like to mix it up. But
I'll have to order some and give it a try. I tried the green stuff, I think it was, when it came out, and I just hated it immediately. So have to try the red. See if I
the
like
red
that.
stuff, if you run the stencil dark enough, it's perfect. If you run it too light, it's going to wipe off real quick.
Yeah.
And that's no good. But I'm also a firm believer that a lot of it comes down to the type of stencil fluid or application that you use, because that really has made a huge difference in just the quality of stencils that I've been getting.
Oh yeah.
Let me see if I actually have a couple of photos of some of the intricate stencils I've done lately. No, that's with Ricardo.
You say my name,
I did say your name.
man.
I don't have too many pictures of the actual stencils. Got one though. I did a koi fish thigh piece the other day with like a ton of tiny little intricate lines. And let's see. Let's airdrop that as soon as that connects. Well, and I'll show you how that came out.
Are either of you guys using any of the stencil apps, like that tattoo stencil app? Do you like that?
Yes,
Have you used-
all the time.
There you go, Jason.
Yeah, I like it.
Dude, it's amazing. You can draw something out small, tell it exactly how big you want it to be when you print the stencil. It'll automatically tile it for you.
Or like fix the line. I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, yeah. The app that I use is
okay.
Tattoo Print for like actually printing the stencil. But if you're
Okay.
talking like getting the actual like stencil ready, Tattoo Stencil is okay. It's basically just a photocopy effect in Photoshop.
Yeah.
So it's not the best, but
Right.
for printing the stencils, Tattoo Print System is absolutely incredible. Yeah,
Yeah,
Corey
that would come in
Ferguson
handy
designed
for like
it.
what I'm doing here.
Yeah. Well,
Yes.
Corey Ferguson's the guy that designed it, and he designed it specifically for tattooers, right? Just as an example, this is a full wrap half sleeve that I started the other day of Alice in Wonderland.
Oh, I love it.
Nice,
And,
yeah.
It really came together great. Even these tiny little dotted lines, like over on the edge, if you run your stencil too dark or, too thick, those lines are going to blur together. but it was perfectly crisp. But what I did was I just plugged in the size. I think she had, it was 10 inches tall, and it'll automatically resize everything. You can add in an overlap. So it's not like you have to like photocopy it multiple times or
Yeah.
anything like that. It is a game changer.
Yeah.
100%.
Dude, we laid out that back piece stencil in like no time at all. Like it would have taken me all day to get that fucking thing together. And you just got it in 10 minutes, like complete. Like
Yeah.
it was taped together and everything and ready to go. Within 10 minutes. It's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know how long y'all been tattooing. I'm sure a long, long time. But if you remember the days of getting real creative with the copy machine, you know, those Xerox machines. Yep. I call it paper shop. I was still stuck in paper shop mode forever.
Yeah.
Where you just have to tape together 8 different pieces and make 50 different copies, you know.
I always
yeah,
ended up,
dude.
yeah, I always ended up taking a piece of paper and then like folding the stencil because if it was a sleeve or back piece, you had to fold the stencil over the paper and then, you know, move on to the next section of that 8 by 8.5 by 11.5 or whatever it is. You know what I mean? And just keep going down left to right, go back down across, go back down, and then just keep making copies. Yeah, dude, it was crazy. That and a light board, right? So,
Yep.
yeah.
And
I
then,
still
just
use my
cutting
light
out the
table.
pieces and taping it all together and then making another copy of that so that they're all on the same level like you would do
Yep.
layers these days.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fucking by
Wow.
the time you get ready to do the tattoo, the whole fucking drawing room looks like a fucking confetti
Yeah.
factory. You know, like I was
Yeah.
always that guy too, blow up the whole fucking paper room with each tattoo.
Yeah.
Then you
Yep.
always end up with stencil on your face at some point in
Dude.
time.
Oh, absolutely.
All the time. All the time. And there's always crumples of paper everywhere. And then people are like, man, I have to keep buying new ink cartridges because you just keep blasting
Yep.
through them. I was like, all right, dude, I'll start picking them up. Chill out. It's cool. It's part of the process, man.
Oh
Trust
yeah,
the
as the shop owner, you hear that fucking copy machine going and going. You're like, God damn it, who's using
Yeah.
fucking
Yep, exactly.
Who's wasting my shit?
Yeah.
you really needed a color fucking reference for that, and you didn't take the time to fucking you really just printed it with the whole background black like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude.
Oh.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, let's see. All right, I think I got a little bit more of this done. I'll show you guys here real quick, see what y'all think. All right, here we go. Now this is in layers, so I can take it off if I need to. But and I
There
can
you
still
go.
I can still mask that. Now, does that take down the shape of a crescent though? Like the
It
crescent moon?
emphasizes the shape of the crescent, I think. But I look at like if I'm tattooing that whole top area, I feel like might need a little bit of drama or something in there. You know, maybe
like up here, you mean?
Maybe like like I think you could get away with more of like almost like a Northern Lights effect or some shit behind there. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah.
like a little more variation in the blues and stuff like that. Then.
Just if you're looking at it as a tattoo, maybe I don't know, but I know that's not the focal point of the exercise. The wooden hand aspect is fucking next level, super cool.
Thank you.
Well, but you got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hands and stuff in there, you know, like
Yeah.
so that's kind of a cool. Oh, I see now the ones that grabbing the one around. I'll tell you what, that did take me a second to figure out, like that there's one coming up holding the one in with the other one.
Right.
Not that that's a bad thing, you know.
Right. Well, you know what I was thinking is like, I don't know if you guys ever gone camping and stuff like that, but especially if you're, tripping while you're camping, the way the fire hits those trees, man, you see all kinds of like weird little shapes in them sometimes, you know what I mean? So I was just thinking like that campfire glow. That'd be pretty fun to do that, like a starry night kind of thing. Yeah.
That glow is awesome and works with the nighttime sky really good, of course, really
cool. All right, sweet. Yeah, so I'll put a little bit more variation up there and kind of play around with that. What do you think, Jason?
Could, yeah.
I like it, dude. I think I still stick to my hold on, let me spotlight you.
Like go ahead and just dampen down that second ring a little bit more.
Yeah, I would definitely dampen that down or even make it a little bit thinner.
Yeah. Okay.
But I definitely fucking like that, man.
Okay. Cool.
I like it a lot lower. It really kind of brings your eye around the whole piece. It looks a little off.
Yeah, it does. Like,
You have that
yeah.
symmetrical, you have the symmetrical oval in the background,
Mm-hmm.
but then you have the asymmetrical interior line. So that's
I
kind
sh-
of throwing me off a little bit.
Yeah, I need to balance that out a little bit more. I agree.
Now keep in mind, because it's going to be disappearing lower on my right,
Mm-hmm. Here.
it's going to look like there's more separation in it, but visually it's going to make more sense to our minds and our eyes when we see it. We
Okay.
don't have to see where it's connecting as long
Mm-hmm.
as it's implied that it connects,
Yeah.
and that's what's really going to matter.
Okay. Cool. I think I'll snap a symmetry line out on one of the layers and reapproach that arc. Cool.
Oh, love that symmetry stuff, right? Snapping the symmetry is fucking a game changer. This is the best.
Big time, dude. Big time. And then Jason was showing me the radial part of it too. It's fucking crazy.
Radial
Oh, yeah.
symmetry? Yeah.
Yeah, that radial symmetry is where it's at. That's huge. I said, what?
I think I might take this. I think it'll be easier for me if I take a photo of this after I get half of it done and then make it extra symmetrical, like finish it on the iPad. I think it'll be easier. But I do want to just get my brain into doing the whole thing before she comes in. And that's my goal, is to finish it up and be like, boom, look at that. Like, that's more effort than I put into half my pieces, for sure.
Yeah. Right.
Which is nice. That's something that I'm aiming to do more. And I have been doing more with the pandemic. I've had a chance to slow down and put way more effort like into just each one and do shit that I really would like to see in my book,
Mm-hmm.
I got a piece that's like going to be like 100-hour sleeve practically. I don't even know how many hours I got. We just work on it. Like, I'm doing it in trade for firearms and stuff, which is always a good way to do a little bit more of an elaborate, like, people don't have the kind of money sometimes to do that either. But man, like, I'm finally doing one, just like taking exactly as much time as I want to do with it, just like an art project. And when I'm done with that, hopefully I'll get some more requests for stuff like that. But I'm having a lot of fun with that piece.
Killer.
Hell yeah.
100-hour sleeve.
Well, guys, I hate to do this to you, but I am going to get running in a minute.
Okay.
No worries. Good chat.
So why don't we go through and we'll start to do some sign-offs. Ricardo, you're already spotlighted, so why don't you go ahead and start?
Okay, cool, man. It's nice hanging out. Damon, it's nice talking to you, man. Thanks for joining us today. Jason, it's always a pleasure. I always enjoy being on your sessions on Sundays, man. I'd like to thank the Reinventing the Tattoo people, Guy Atchison, Gabe Ripley. Thanks a lot for putting this together, man. It's been cool getting to meet everybody. And yeah, my name is Ricardo Sturdivant. You can find me on Instagram at Candor Tattoo. I'm in Normal, Illinois, not so normal Illinois. And my email is candortattoo@gmail.com. If you ever want to just, send some pictures, talk about some art, or set up some time, whatever works, man. That's about it.
Awesome. Damon, go ahead, man.
Right on. Yeah. Just thanks for having me on, guys. I appreciate it. It's been a blessing. If anything good has come out of the pandemic and whatnot, I would say for me, it's definitely been connecting more with the tattoo family on the Zoom stuff, because I miss being able to go to stuff and see people. And I think it's the next best thing. It's even just a totally different thing on its own. I look forward to keeping up with it even after shit gets somewhat back to normal, for sure. Because even the people, if there's anyone in the chat watching or anything, the new young baby tatter tots and stuff like that too, you're a part of the tattoo family. So, you want to participate and join in as much as you can, just like I do. So it's always fun.
Yep.
Awesome. How can people get a hold of you?
Oh, Damon Tesh Tattoos on Instagram. My shop is called Second Sight Tattoo here in Humboldt County. Second Sight Tattoo on Instagram. Always down for having guest artists that come out. It's one of the most beautiful spots in the country that I've scene for sure, with the redwoods and the beaches. And I like to do a lot of fishing and stuff like that around too. So if you want to go on an adventure and come out for a guest spot anytime, you guys are more than welcome.
Awesome, man. Thanks.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So we'll see you. I'm looking forward to the next drawing group, man. I usually participate on the sidelines and stuff there, Jason. So I appreciate you having me on today.
Hey, man, it's always a pleasure, dude. I always love having dialogue with new people and getting different perspectives. You're a really well-rounded artist as well, man. So you got advice on all types of things. I even tuned in Thursday night when you were doing that lettering seminar.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, looking forward to doing
awesome.
more of that. Maybe we can join in. You know, I'm looking to have some more guests. I think we're going to do once a month, like focus on lettering group more in the evening.
Dude, that would be amazing because
Yeah,
lettering is
killer.
definitely something I need to step my game up in.
Yeah, and then
Absolutely.
it seems like a lot of tattooers, like, you know, if you do plan on just like, you know, accommodating most anyone that comes through the door and have to do what you got to do, then for me, it's something that over the years, I've tattooing words on people. That's what I do. I write words on people practically. That's what I joke around about. Just another day writing words on people, you know? And what I like about that specifically is that it's like an instrument or something like that. The practice really pays off quickly. You can see yourself improving after hours of practice, like no problem. You'll level up just by wanting to do so and stuff. Whereas when you're talking about illustrative or figurative drawing and stuff, for me, that's a lot more of a mystery kind of, you know. You can't say, well, do this and you'll get better. But with lettering, it's like, just do that kind of shit over and over and you'll get better.
Right on, man. Right on. Can't wait.
Yep.
Cool. Right on. Thanks you guys. Thanks again, you guys. Appreciate it. I'm gonna see if I can knock this rest of this half out here today.
Go for it, man. Go for it. Good luck.
All right, guys. Thanks again.
Take it easy.
Anytime. For those of you that are tuning in right now, my name is Jason Leeser. I usually lead the Sunday afternoon drawing groups here at Reinventing the Tattoo. Takes place every Sunday at 1 o'clock. We've got a lot of awesome events coming up pretty soon. Feel free to join our community. It's free. It's not going to cost you anything to just join the community and tune in for this stuff. But if you really want to get the maximum effort out of it, you're definitely going to want to pick up a subscription to the Reinventing the Tattoo canon. With that, not only do you get access to all of the updated content in the Reinventing the Tattoo canon with all types of new little tips and tricks, new information, new chapters are being added. I think we've added like 3 or 4 of them in the past, 3 months. They're really touching on everything and getting everything going with all of the new updated information and material. Definitely highly recommend you check it out. As well, on top of that, you also get access to the Monday evening drawing groups with Guy Aitchison himself, where you actually get to sit down and talk with him about art, tattoos, shapes, drawing, painting, stuff like that. Each Monday night class usually involves some type of a focus, whether it's on texture or lighting, different types of lighting, turbulence. We did one on flames, layout, you name it. We try to cover it. And it's really, really informative. For those of you out there thinking, well, $300 a year, I mean, really? Well, it's less than $1 a day. And if that's not enough of an incentive for you, I'll give you actually have like a little promo code that you can use to take 10% off your subscription. Reinventingthetattoo.com/next level. Trust me, it's definitely going to be worth it if you pick it up. But I wanted to say thank you very much for everyone that's joined us today. All the people on the Facebooks and YouTube channels and all of that stuff. Thank you very, very much for tuning in. Remember to, follow the page, like and subscribe if you're on YouTube. And hopefully we'll get to see you in here next Sunday. So without further ado, thank you very much for joining us again today. I'd like to say cheers. Thank you, Guy Aitchison and Gabe Ripley, for creating this community. It's really helping us all just step our game up. So thank you very much, guys. Take care. And if you get the chance, join in Jake Meek's drawing group tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Eastern time. It's always a great time where we discuss art and all types of other awesome tattoo related stuff. So thank you very much for tuning in. Stay safe, and hope to see you guys again pretty soon. Take care.
Take it easy. Peace.